Good morning. Hi everyone. Good morning. This is Anthony and I want to welcome all of you to day 3 of the web design webinar on how to create websites for small businesses. Karibuni sana. I want to welcome all of you that have already come in. I am happy that you are here and that you are enjoying this and have already come so far. So I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar. It's going to be a pretty hands-on webinar today. I want to welcome the people who have come already. So the first person to comment today was, and I hope I'm saying this correctly, Misati Realtors. And Karibu sana. We're hoping for a great month indeed. It's the start of a new month, so we want to trust that things are going to go well despite the current circumstances. That we are going to have a wonderful month at the beginning of this month. So yes, indeed. I want to also welcome the other people who have come in. A lot of people saying good morning. Good morning world. Good morning Deep Africa. Yes, karibuni sana. So let me mention a few people who are here. First, I really hope I'm saying this one correctly. BJORN Sun K. Karibu sana. You're saying good morning, I'm in. Samuel Mbogwa, good morning. Bernice Nixon, Edward, karibuni sana. Calgary, good morning. Nice to see you again. Raymond, I'm seeing people who are here yesterday and the day before. Thank you so much. This is day 3 and you've been with us all through that time. I hope you're learning a lot. Probably you can post in there what you've learned so far, the things that your key takeaways. It may also inspire others. If you're here for your first time, I want to welcome you. Again, this is a series, day 3 of 5 days, and we are going to be running this from Monday, which began on Monday, to Friday. If you've missed any of the videos in the past, on deepafrica.com/webinar, you'll find the other 2 videos and all the rest. In case you're watching this after we are done with the whole webinar, that whole series is going to be there on deepafrica.com/webinar. There's going to be the entire series. In case you're watching this in the very distant future and we've done another webinar, then you may probably want to go to our YouTube channel where you're going to find this series as one of the playlists. Okay, so let's begin. I'd like us to begin with the webinar today, and I want to welcome each and every person who has come in. First, I want to mention something that we have for you, great news that we have for you. Now, if you have been following along, you've noticed that we've been doing very practical things, like doing things like hands-on, actually wanting to create an actual website by the end of this. Now, I'm really keen on ensuring that you guys are going to have a website by the time this webinar series ends. And a number of people yesterday were saying that, do I have to have it online? Do I have to have a domain name purchased for me to follow along? And the answer truthfully is, unless you already have an understanding of how to use these things, how to use like a local machine, it may be difficult for you to set up any other way other than the way that I'll be showing you. And so for that reason, we want to make it easier for you to get a domain name and hosting. And so we have a limited time offer to anybody who is watching this. We are going to be giving 60% off our Kwanzaa hosting. You remember I showed you yesterday Kwanzaa hosting, which goes for that 364. So you get to save 1,600 shillings by getting a 60% off 60% off discount that will allow you to actually set up your domain name and hosting for you to be able to follow along with what we are doing. So I would like to request each and every one of you who have not yet purchased a hosting, I promise you after this webinar is gone, that 60% will not be available. And so you want to sign up immediately so that you actually can be able to get your website and online presence going. Now, there's no point in just watching. It's good that if you are just watching, but it actually is going to be of more use to you if you are actually following along and doing the things that we are talking about practically. practically, other than just following along by watching and saying that you're going to do it later. The thing is, later turns out to be never. So I advise you to actually follow along. The fact that we are doing like daily assignments, one of the reasons why I didn't do it as just a one-day webinar on just Monday alone is because just having it as a one-day webinar will not help you like build your site. Even me, I have actually been building out the content that we've been talking about, and I've actually realized it's not that easy to create an about page. And I'm still working on getting that completely done, but at least I have everything I need for today. I told you that we're going to be building a website. The website we're going to be building is weddingdress.co.ke. And it's good to be able to do this, like to go along doing this, because when you're doing this practically, it actually helps you to put things into practice. It helps you to actually properly learn. You learn by doing, not by watching necessarily. And so if you want to follow along and do exactly the way I'm doing it, just go to deepafrica.com, just go on checkout, go to the checkout section, like look for the domain name that you want, complete the requirements that are there, get the checkout. Once you get to checkout, you're going to be able to enter the coupon code called webinar, and I'm posting that on the live chat here. Coupon code webinar. Coupon code webinar. So that's the coupon code that you want to use. And it's actually going to be quite, it's a really attractive deal. So I advise you to take it. Okay, moving on. I want to proceed with today's webinar, and today we are going to be decking out this website. We're going to get this website looking better. It's just, right now all we have is a WordPress installation, what we did yesterday, and we also have a theme that is called Astra. If you don't know what that is, please go and check. So there's a theme called Astra that we set up. Then we also set up a plugin called Elementor and Envato Elements, which we set up yesterday. So today we are going to be designing our first page on this website. So that's the goal of this the goal of this webinar today, is that we'll have created our first page, or our home page. And after we've designed our home page, then we're going to have a look. We're going to have a better understanding of how to build the rest of the pages. It's going to be easier to build the rest of the pages. And so I'd like us to get started with this. So let me just give you the outline of what we expect to go through. Today we expect to, our expectation today is that we are going to create a content map to allow us to know how exactly our website is going to look. A content map, our website map. Actually, I call it a site map. A map that shows what pages we are going to have on the website, like what are the pages and how they are going to be organized, so that they are going to help us to organize our header and footer. It's also going to allow us to get a basic understanding of how many pages we need to design. And so with that, I'm just going to pull up just a new, I use Google Docs a lot, so I'm going to pull up a new Google Docs document. Here we go. And we already know the pages that we want. I personally know the pages that I want. Based on the content that I was building out, the pages that I want is the home page. And so this is actually how I would do, for a small website, this is what I would do in building out the content, like the site map. For larger websites, I may need to use like tables, but and all of that I can do it actually in Google Docs. But it's basically it's an easy thing. You don't need to have complicated tools for you to be able to build this. So let me just name this document just for the sake of hygiene. Wedding dress site map. So I know a number of things that I need to have. First, I know I need to have a home page. Number two, so let's just put this as one. Put them in numberings. So there's a home page, is about page. There is Let's see. Okay, there's going to be the about page, there's going to be a product page. And within the product page, we're going to have gowns. I hope that's the right way of spelling gowns. Then we're going to have, so wedding gowns. Wedding gowns, let me just get my list so I don't miss anything. So wedding gowns, wedding shoes, then wedding accessories. Then I have wedding gown rentals. Then I have bridesmaids dresses. So I'm going to have within my product page, now all of this represent a page. So I'm going to have the home page, the about page, the product page, that is then going to be subdivided into smaller pages. That is wedding gowns, wedding shoes, wedding accessories, wedding gown rentals, bridesmaids dresses. Then after that, we are going to have obviously the contact page. That usually comes last, so let's have, so after that, within this, we talked about having testimonials, and then gallery. Now this is what is going to serve as almost like my case study. I'm going to have like picture gallery of brides who have used our gowns and like pictures of their weddings and stuff like that. So remember, these are fictitious business. I'm trying to come up with it as I go along. Again, since I'm not the business owner and I don't know much about wedding dresses, I have a lot to learn around it. But basically, those are the things that I would set up. Those are the pages that I would set up. Now, this is not cast on stone. It's most likely that I'm going to do a lot more. I'm going to probably do a number of other pages, depending on my need. And but this basically, having this plan helps me understand like which pages am I going to design, what are they going to contain, what do I need to have on my home page so that I can be able to highlight it. So right away, we can be able to see that immediately that the first thing we're going to need to do and highlight highly is there we go. Just a bit of keeping things in order. So in our homepage, we know that the homepage normally is the page that is like it's the front page of a newspaper. When you have a newspaper, you're not going to have like an entire story on the newspaper. You're going to have just small snippets at the header, identifying who this newspaper is and who they are, what they do. Not really what they do, but just basically is this a particular brand of newspaper. And after that, there's going to be the main headlines, the things that they want your eyes to catch first. And then there are going to be other things that are within there that you may also be interested in reading, but you will not find a full article in the in the front page of the newspaper. In the same way, for your own website, you do not want to put like an entire page, like an entire product, its information on that home page. You want to put a summary. It's going to be a summary of everything that can be found within the website, so that by the time this person is looking through it, by the time they are done with the home page, they have a basic idea of what it is that you normally do and how you normally do it. Now, one of the things that I may want to think about is what functionalities do I want people to be able to fulfill at the homepage? When they come to the homepage, what do I want them to be able to do? What's a goal? Remember what we said on the day one. When you're designing a website, there are two main things that people want an answer for. The first is, do you have what I want? That's the first question people have. And number two is, can I trust you enough to give it to me? So we want to be able to answer that question very clearly, that this, for instance, for the wedding dress website, that this, when a bride comes to this this website, that they are in the right place. They are going to find indicators that they're in the right place. So images that we prepare on the first day are an important part of that, but also other functionalities, like for instance, if we have appointment bookings, we may probably want to put that on the home page, even if it's not going to be the form to book the appointment, but at least highlight that very clearly on the things that need to be there, like appointment booking. So one of the things that I normally do is once I create the sitemap like this, I would start thinking about, like, how do I want my website to look? Now, for beginners, they may not have the ability to actually figure out like how they want to lay out their website, but I just want to show you how I normally do it. Now, I sketched out an idea of how I want my site to look. Now, I do not know whether, yes, that is visible. So I sketched out and how my website would need to look. And so up here, you'll see that I have a slider, then I have where I'm going to put my products, then I have like a short picture of the about page, then a few testimonials, then the footer. Now this is just general guidance. I was sketching this out. The reason why I like sketching things out is because by sketching it out, you have a better idea. You have a better idea of what exactly you're going to be designing. Because next, after this, we are going to go and start building, like looking for templates. But you don't want your website to just exactly look like someone else's template, because they designed it the way they did for their own purpose. And so we want to design it in our own way that fits our needs. So even if you're going to use a template, we want to use a template that is we are going to modify that template to the way we want it to look. But we can't modify it to the way we want it to look if we do not know what we want. I hope that's clear. So that's the reason why I would make a sketch like this. A sketch like this is very rudimentary, but it basically tells me, it helps me define what exactly am I looking for? What exactly do I want to do? What do I want to achieve with this website? Again, does it mean that it's only going to look like this? Is that what it means? That it's just going to look like that? No, it's not. I'm going to actually make sure that this is just basically a guidance. So I'm going to follow that plan, then see whether it's working, then adjust based on the way it's looking and based on like more information that I want to put here. So like one of the things that I'd left out from this sketch is that I want to have an action section that allows somebody to be able to go to book an appointment. So I think because booking an appointment is going to be one of these things here, one of the things that are important, then I'm going to have that as an extra item here. So book a fitting. Now, in the last couple of days, I've been learning a lot about wedding dresses because of this website. And so one of the things that I found was that people want to go and fit different dresses, and it would be a good idea. Because I want this shop to look to be, well, I'm assuming the business owner, for instance, is located in the upper end of the market, and so they want their clients to feel that they are organized and that they have the dresses are worth the money that they are going to pay for them. And one way of knowing that, one way of being able to depict that the dresses are worth the money is by creating a feel of exclusivity and a feel of organization. So that's the reason why we are doing adding book a fitting. This is one of the items. Now, based on the things that we have, based on the things that we are looking to do, and based on the products that we have, we already have a bit of an outline of what our homepage needs to look like. It needs to have most of the aspects of these other pages. Again, if it's a very large website, you may not be able to do this, but you want to have most of the aspects of these other pages here. And so the way having this sitemap is an important part of it. So now that we know that we are going to need a product page that has sub-pages, we're going to need book fittings section, book fittings page, about page, testimonials, gallery, and contacts. Then we can be able to put those small aspects within our homepage. So let's let's go. So let's look at. Let me just make sure that I have everything that we need for today. Perfect. So the first thing we're going to do is that we've done is created a content map. The next thing we are going to do is create the header and footer of our website. So determining the colors, fonts, logo, and I'll explain what NAP is. Its name, business name, address, and phone number. And so these are the next things we're going to be doing. So now, you'll notice that on this website, it's pretty plain. There's nothing much in there that can be like nice to look at. And we want to change first the header and the footer. The header and the footer are going to be visible on all other pages. So it needs to be a style that is going to allow other pages to also look good, even as you do it for the home page. Now, if I was using page tools, I would not go this way. I would design the header and the footer custom. I would design a custom header and footer, but there are no tools that are out there that allow for that kind of functionality that are free. And because we want to keep this within the free section, within the free infrastructure, so we're going to be having it. Using only free tools. We don't want to use any paid tools. So now remember what we said yesterday, that you log in to your website using WP admin or just /admin. So now one of the things I'm noticing here as a problem is because it was saying that it was insecure, HTTPS. I need to just make sure that I am logging in using the HTTPS. Now, one of the challenges that I'm seeing with this is that I may not have forced it to load with the secure interface, and that's what I'm going to be doing when I log in. So let's log in there. I was already logged in, so let me just log out so that you can be able to see. You remember how to log in, right? I don't need to show you that, do I? Okay. So let's just proceed. Now, let's just fix that that element quickly, the one that I was mentioning earlier. HTTPS, loading HTTPS. Now, if your website shows like what mine was showing, you see here, not secure. It doesn't mean that you don't have an SSL in there. It means that there are elements within your website that may not be loading securely, and so you need to fix that. There are a number of ways of fixing that. I'm going to go about fixing that on my end, but the main way of going about it is, well, it's slightly complicated. I don't want to have to get into it, but there's an easy way of being able to do it on the back end on cPanel. If you want to learn how, there are videos that I think I've done a video on that on the channel, and you can also look on YouTube. But the main thing you want to look for is how to force HTTPS on htaccess, through htaccess. Again, if you do not understand these things, if you don't understand what I said, it's okay. You don't need to know this. I'm going to fix that on the back end. But all right, let's design our first the header and footer. So the way you do that is going to appearance, then customize. Now, once you do that, once you go to appearance and customize, it's going to bring you to this section here. So the thing that you want to add within that section is you want to add things like your logo, for instance. Let's start with that first, because with a good logo, when you have a good logo on your website, it means a lot. So before I came for the webinar today, I designed a logo that I'm going to add. So you go to header, site identity, logo. So you click on logo here. Now, it's going to pull up a media profile, media section that allows you to upload. You can be able to drag and drop, which is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to drag and drop the logo that I designed into that website. That's the first option that you have. The other option that you have is going to File, select Files, and then going to where that thing is located and clicking on the down on that. So now this is a repetition of the same, so I just want to delete that. I don't have a lot of files that are confusing me. So this is the logo I designed, the wedding dress logo. Now you'll notice that normally they have recommendations of how whether you should snip it or not, whether it's going to be cropped or not, so specifications of what dimensions of logo, but you can actually ignore those if your logo is really wide. And so since my logo is very wide, what I want to do is skip cropping so that it's going to be there, it's going to be long like that. But now, here's the first problem we've encountered. The logo is very large. It looks very large on, it looks very large to view. And that's a problem. The reason why this is a problem is because you don't want your website looking like this. And let me show you how it's going to look. You don't want it looking like that. It's not very nice. So the way we're going to do it to fix that is going to change the logo width, take it down somewhere there, because that seems okay. I need to take this back to normal zoom. Okay, that now seems slightly smaller. So let's take it there. Now, it means that 254 pixels is how wide it is. Now, so that I do not make the mistake of having a very large image being compressed down, which is what I was telling you, I was advising against, I will go to Photoscape, as we had done in the first day. And once Photoscape opens, I'm going to open, let me just bring it for you to see here. It's one of the things here. So the width is 657. And what we are looking for is a width of about 250 pixels, I believe, which is 254. So let's make it 300 width. So we're going to come here and say edit. And then we're going to resize this to 300 pixels wide. And so we're going to save that. You see that's actually very large. So let's have it as 100% for this particular one. Save as, I'm going to give the dimensions as 300 width. Okay, so we want to change this. We still want to retain the big logo we had, but we want to have the smaller one for the logo, because we want it to, the logo that is going to be everywhere, we don't want it to be a very large file. And you notice this is this is like 11 kilobytes, which is pretty small, which is really good. And so let's keep cropping for that. And now you see that it's actually in the right dimensions. So 256. So even if we set it at like 300, that's as wide as it can be, and that's actually 100%. So it's actually loading exactly as it should be. So that's for that. Now for mobile devices, that may not look very good. So let's reduce that for that. And so what I'm doing here is changing the widths based on mobile. And what you do is just click there, and it shows you how to optimize that for mobile. Now let's do the site icon. Now for the site icon, I'm going to actually use the logo that I created, and then I'm going to, okay, that doesn't work. Let me go and get that from my tool. We want to have this white dress, and so because we have this W peeking out, that's the reason why I don't want it there. So let me just adjust that on a tool that I have. Now, again, let me do this so that you are able to do it the way without having to rely on other paid tools. So let me make it like practical for you. Now, this is the big one that I had, I believe. Let's see. Let's find out. Yes, so this is the big one that I had. the big logo. Now I want to crop this so that I can be able to get an icon, the icon for it. So I'm going to come and crop it that way. But you remember the same problem we're having on the website is the same one that we're having here. So let's first crop that. But you see we still have this W peeking out here. I don't know that that's very visible. So what we want to do, let me just zoom in. It's pixelated because that's not 100%, it's actually zoomed in more. So what we want to do is go to tools. This is on the Photoscape. This is free. The tool I was about to use was not free, but I want to show you how to do it for free without having to pay any money. So you use, let's try out the eraser. Does that work? Yes, the eraser does. So let's erase that W. And there we are. Apply. And you notice right now, if we go to like 100%, we have that icon on its own. So that's the way I would solve that. So let's now say save, and let's make this save as. It's normally called a favicon. Well, I call it a favicon or fav icon. I don't know who calls it fav icon. I've never heard it being called a fav icon. And so let's create. So add site icon. We want to upload what we just created, the favicon. Let me just drag it in here. Just a moment. There we are. And it's a square image. And there we go. So let's select that. It's already available. We don't want to crop that anymore. Crop image. And there we go. So you'll notice that up here we have the favicon already there. So all right. Now the other thing about it is, let's get back to the desktop view. The way people view it in desktop. We want to have we want to remove this from appearing. So display site title, nope. You don't want to display the site title. You just want that available. And you can already see that it's starting to take shape, that we're having a page that looks nice. Tagline, we want to display tagline. This is the way it would be displayed. Where is that tagline? Display site tagline, but we don't want to display the site tagline either. We just want it to look clean like that. I'm an advocate for clean, simple design. So right now we have already basically finished the header. We are going to come back to it once we create the other pages, because we are going to then have those pages here. But essentially what that would look like, we can actually do a dummy. Let me give you a dummy of how that would look. Where is the menus? This is a dummy of how it's going to look. So let's give this menu a name. The menu is main menu. It's a primary menu and also the footer menu. Someone is asking what platform are you using to create a logo. I personally use a software called Affinity Designer. In case you don't have a logo, let me probably mention this. If you don't have a logo for your website, something that may make sense for you would be Logo Maker. That's without the E. Logo M-A-K-R.com. Logomaker.com. Logomaker.com is a free tool that allows you to design websites, to design logos for free and use them for free. It's a pretty nice tool. So let's, like a quick way of like wedding, it pulls up icons of wedding like dresses. Oh, they have really nice icons here. I could have used some of these here. And so like you can select this here as your wedding gown, then come and add text, type something where, actually this is easier than the wedding design, the design tool that I was using, because the design tool I was using is quite complex. There we go, wedding dresses. Let's change the font of this. Again, I think you get my point. There are different ways you can go about like designing, but this for me I found to be the easiest way of designing. and I'm getting into a rabbit hole. I think you get the point. Once you have, let's pick a font. I want to show you how to download it once you're done. Wedding dresses. Let's create another text. Kenya. There we are. Make this color purple, which is what I had, and like dark purple. And this to have the same dark purple. Anyway, I think you get my point. I feel like I really need to get this to look good. Let's make this green, dark green. There we are. Okay. Then once you have that, you would save logo. And you don't want to choose the high resolution file. You just want to go with the low resolution file. And it's saying that credit required. And so, and there we are. We have, it was basically that. And by the way, I hadn't planned doing that. But you see, we have a logo already. Favicon. Lucy, thank you. So there we are. We have a logo. It took me like 5 minutes to design. It's a really good tool. I used it for many years before I switched to like paid tools. And I would say this is a really good tool for any small business. You don't need to have like a really complex tool to design logos for you. You're already okay. Okay. So let's get back to designing. We are designing the home page, and so I was creating a few sample pages. So let's just add some like dummy font so you can be able to see dummy, what do you call it? Like dummy menu icons. So let's just home, about, products, let me get my list again of the products that we are hoping to create. Wedding gowns. Now remember, I need to make this clear, just in case you get lost. This is not the actual menu we are going to build. We're going to build the menu later after you've created all of the pages. But this just basically is going to help you see how it's going to look at the end. So don't depend on this as the final menu. We are going to come and change up these icons. From this, we're going to then select, you see the way that there are pages here. We're going to come and select those pages and make them the menu. But right now, we're just demonstrating how the menu is going to look. So wedding gowns, wedding shoes, wedding accessories. Okay. There we are, wedding accessories. Wedding gown, and actually gown rentals. Dresses. Then we had on our list here, book a fitting, about, testimonials, gallery. Let me not add all of them, just a few. Book a fitting. Then have testimonials. Then have contact us. There we go. So now on this left hand side here, you will notice, okay, I think it's been blocked by my face. So let me turn my face off for a moment. The testimonials section here no, not the testimonials, the menu section. This menu section is a demo menu. We are creating it as a demo menu, and you probably want to call it demo main menu. Now, the thing about it is we have created sections here, and they should be able to display. Let me just click on publish that. But you see all of these are together. They are going to show all of them like showing here. Now, that's not what we want. What we want is for the product, for it to be shorter. So we want to drag these smaller sub pages. Oops. Yeah, told you. See what happened? They all came here. So that's what we are trying to correct. Wedding shoes. Let's close that. Wedding shoes. Gown rentals. Bridesmaids dresses. Oh boy. Bridesmaids dresses. There we are. So you can see you actually reduce the menu to look like that. And the reason why we are dragging these ones down is so you can have a drop-down menu like the way that one looks there. And so there you have it. Now this is a dummy menu. These pages will not go anywhere. You'll notice they are not going to go anywhere because you remember we didn't give them an address. So anyway, I was just showing you how to create a dummy menu. I hope I've not lost you. Amos is saying very helpful. Thank you, Amos. I appreciate the fact that you're finding this helpful. And that's the reason we're here. We're here to help you out, so that you have a better situation than the one we are in. Get yourself a website, make the best out of a bad situation. So let's click on publish. Now we have a menu, a top menu, and we want to now add like a footer menu. We're going to use the same dummy menu to be able to have a footer. So let us see. So now, the reason I'm clicking on these elements, when I click on the elements that have like a pencil icon, they take you directly to where the item that you're trying to edit is. So I've edited the menu, which was like you see here on the menu, like the way to edit that menu, and we can be able to give like a few items there. We have edited the logo. We want to now edit the footer. We want to create a footer section. So so what is it saying? Wait a couple seconds. I'm not sure why that is. So we have like the bottom here, bottom like thing that is showing like what our, how do you call it? What the attribution. Just above that, we are going to have the menu. So I just want to add a menu section. So we want to select one like a different configuration. So instead of having having it been blank, the first option is having it like with the footer and attribution. The second is having the footer on the left and attribution. So I want to pick that one on the left. And so section 1, this first section, it's going to take a while to show. The first section is like we probably want to add some text, like the way this is. This is the text. And the section 2, you want to add, let's say, like the footer menu. Now this footer menu of mine is very long. It's very big. So let's see whether it's going to fit. If it fits, good. If it doesn't, that's still okay. Okay, so I was just reading a few of the comments. You're saying this is awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we want to make one of the sections the footer menu. So the footer menu is going to be on the right. So you notice we selected this one. We'll see the reason why it's not displaying as it should be. So we selected the footer to be on the first section to be the footer, the next one to be the attribution. So the attribution is going to be on the right side here. So let's say copyright wedding gowns. Wedding gowns, Kenya. Okay. Perfect. So with that in mind, so we have basically created a very basic header and footer. Now, the other thing that you need to think about when designing a website like this, let's just refresh and see whether our changes have been effected. So one of the other things that you also want to think about when designing these first sections is what colors are you going to use? Are you going to have, what colors is your website going to take? Now, some of the things that you need to think about is if you're going to have colors, it needs to be, you don't have to have all of the colors of the rainbow. When you have all of the colors of the rainbow, then you have a problem because it's going to be too flashy, too many things going on. You don't want to make your clients like run away because of how many colors there are. So there's a useful tool that I normally use to get colors. And basically get colors of the website. The first thing that I normally do is ensure that I have, let me just bring myself back up, ensure that I have, what do you call it? That I have the base color, and the base color is obtained from my logo. So the logo, as you can see here, let's see where that logo is. My logo, I chose the color purple as the main color of my logo, and so you want to have a base color to start with. So how you choose colors is COOLORS, colors.co. Colors.co is a really good website that allows us to be able to pick out colors for our the website that we're going to be creating, but it's good to have a base color to start with. So I want to click on generate. Okay, so once we click on generate, we are going to be generating a new color palette. But the first thing, let me first pull out the color that I had. Just pulling it out quickly. Let me find where that color is. So I'm just getting it from the tool that I used to design this particular logo, wedding dress. Let me find what that color is. Now again, this is not something you would be doing yourself. Like using this tool, I use Affinity Designer. You don't need this. This is a bit advanced for the basic user. But I was just pulling the color that I had. So the color that I had was that. I think this is a dark blue shade. So I want that to be the basis of the rest of my colors, or the colors of my website. So once I have that locked in, I've pressed the lock icon so that I can lock it in. Then I can start pressing space, the space bar. When I press the space bar, it allows me to like shuffle through different colors that I can be able to use that actually would help me like figure out what kind of they are good complementary colors. Now again, the thing about them is that the colors are not very bright. They are not very flashy. And they are complementary. So what this tool does, it takes the base color that you've chosen and goes about like looking for other colors that are complementary that would work well with it. So that's one of the things about it. Just a moment. So when designing the kind of site that you're going to have, I think I like this green because green goes well with purple. So I want to continue cycling through. So I've locked in these two colors that I liked a lot. Pink is always really nice. Pink is nice for for like for a wedding dress, because they are, well, ladies are the main market, so I probably want to keep that pink. Now I'm starting to get too flashy. I already have 3 very loud colors, so I need to look for a color that works, that mutes this out. So a color that mutes that out and makes it a bit more like less intrusive. So let's keep this. This is not white exactly, but it's close to white. And then let's see whether we can find one final color that makes sense. Probably a different shade of the green, like a smaller shade of the green may help. Actually, I changed my mind. Let's not use this color. I like this one more. So let's remove that, unlock that, move this here, lock that. So let's like find a shade of green that works. A very light shade of green. I like that. I think I like that. So we're going to pick that as the color that we're going to go with. So the colors that we're going to go with. So the way I would go about this is that I would now export this. So export this through the export button. Let's export it as a PDF. Okay. Let's export it as a PDF. So now we have these colors here. Now let's save this here. So we want to save it to the place where we had saved the others. These are our color palette. Now the reason why this is important is having your website be consistent is a really important part of it. So let me just mention something. You see the colors, these numbers that are indicated here. These are the color codes that we're going to, that are this. So this is not just, well, I'm starting to think this is blue. This is not just blue, it's actually purple. It's actually purple, and so, well, it's not just blue, it's actually like a version of, well, it's not just blue or purple, it's an actual, like the code here. That's the code that is there. And this is not just green, it's this code here. This is not just pink, it's that code there. This is not just white-ish or like, well, that color, it's that code there. So you want to use exactly the codes that have been given. And so that's, it's going to make your website be, be very consistent. Let's just come and reload this. And so, just a moment. I think there are some changes that did not take. So let's just go and get them to take. Okay, so there are some changes that were made that were not saved. So let's restore the autosave. There we are. That's the autosave that we had done. So let's publish those changes there. Perfect. So let's just refresh this. Now you can see the changes that we made. There we are. And so you can see the header is looking good, and the footer is also looking good. Now we have a number of sections here. This is actually overflowing a bit, so we may want to make the bottom look a bit better. So now that we have gotten the colors, you remember we got the color codes here. We now want to go to use these colors to our advantage. So I just want to move this. Now you've noted these colors here. I just want to move this to a place where I can be able to use it elsewhere. And let's close this because we've generated the sitemap, the colors. So let's now come back to our customizer. Now our customizer, you remember we had added the content for it and the way it's going to look, its structure, but we had not adjusted the colors, created the colors for it. So some of the things that we're going to do is just make sure that we have the right colors like put in place. So the base color, our base text color is going to, well, normally this gray is good. The theme color is going to be, you remember the one that I was calling purple? That's going to be our theme color, the main color that we're going to be using. So I'll paste that hex code there. Then our link colors. Now the link colors can be the green color that we created. So let's use that as our link colors. Our link hover colors means that when you hover on it, what color does it turn? I'm a bit adventurous, so let's make it that, so that when somebody hovers, they see that color. Pretty cool, huh? So then the heading colors. The heading colors, let's make them the color, the purple that we had selected. Heading colors. You notice that they turn color. They'll turn color shortly. Then background color, we want to leave it as such because, again, you don't want to make that. Again, there are some of the things we want to ignore. And most of the things we are doing are affecting our links here. So you can notice now that we have adjusted, made those adjustments, we have the links showing the way that we had talked about. Edward, that's true. Men are colorblind. So yeah. You're saying that Nigel is saying that you can't be able to find the footer to customize. The footer, I hope you're using Astra, the theme that we were using, and the footer, you can be able to adjust the footer by clicking on this section down here. You're noticing this here? Like click on that. It should take you to the footer section. No problem, don't worry. I don't really mind being taken back because I want to make sure that you actually get this really well. So I don't know whether you've been able to find it. If not, the footer can also be found here. Like you see this footer, footer bar. It may also be possible that when you are selecting the footers, I don't know whether you did the things that I did, like in creating the headers the way I created them here, but you probably want to go back to like the menu. Let's go to menus. Primary header. Nope. Let's get back to the very top. Let's go to menus. You see this section here? Oh, sorry, I'm showing you with my face still here. I think I'm going to turn off my face for a while now. You're seeing this section here, menu. That should take you to like the demo menu we created. And you need to make it both the primary and footer menu. Nigel, please let me know. Captain Cargo, very funny. You're saying that I've mentioned almost the entire rainbow when describing 5 colors. No problem. Boy child understands your struggle. Yes, let's stick to the color codes. I actually don't like describing them with their actual names because, yeah, boy child. So, Nigel, I hope that fixes the problem that you had. You need to make it both your primary and footer menu, the main menu that we are using as a demo, for you to be able to see these changes here. I hope that helps. And I hope your menu now looks like this. Now I want to collect any questions. I know, now, brace yourself. I think we are going to take a lot more than just the 1 hour we had hoped for. This might go on to about 1.5 to 2 hours. I hope you're ready for that. I will need to get done with this section, with designing. We'll need to have a home page before we end this. So just brace yourself for it. Nigel, I'm looking for a confirmation from you. I know there's a bit of a time lag, so please let me know let me know if you have been able to solve that problem we were talking about. I just want to reduce my face a bit more, so probably I am not in the way so much. Okay, Nigel, I'll be waiting to. Oh, sorry, you've seen it. I actually missed your comment before Captain Cargo's funny comment that you saw it. Okay, I want to proceed. If there's anybody who has issues and you're having really big issues and you're not able to communicate to me directly, there are people who are in there that have like the spanner icons. They are the moderators for the event today, and so you can reach out to them and find out how they can be able to assist you. John Mugi, John Mugi is our designer, and so oh, you're saying you're working from a different theme. Understood. So you may not be seeing the things exactly as I am. Okay, so John Mugi is our web designer and graphics designer, so he may be able to assist with some more of the technical issues. And so you can be able to ask him questions directly. All right, I want to proceed because this, as I've said, is going to take a while. We have a basic outlook of how all of these things are looking. The header, we want it to look white that way. The footer, I have a different plan for it. So let's make it look a bit better than what it does right now. Footer bar, we want to change the, okay, let's first change the border color. Make the border color black. No, let's actually use our our color purple. I'm going back to my actually let me have it even here so that you can see me doing it. I'm going back to my color here. I'm copying that color code. Then coming back to add that is that. Then the background color. Now I want to change the background color of this particular footer, and I want to make the background color something else. So let's first go with a very light gray. Let's go with a very light gray as a background color, and then the content color is the text color. Basically, the text color of the pages we're going to have. So let's have it as my purple. Let's see how that looks, and then let's also have the link color as the purple I had, and then you see now it's starting to look like that. And then let's have it on hover, the link color on hover be the green that we had chosen. So when someone hovers, now that green is a bit too dark in my opinion. Let me just make it slightly more light. I guess that will help. It's actually not helping. Okay. Let's bring this to a darker shade. That looks better. Okay, perfect. So there we are. So we've changed the menu colors down here. So let's just hit publish right there. Now, all right, now that we have this ready, the final thing we want to do is choose our fonts. Now the font colors are okay. The font colors are set and are good to have, but we also want to make sure that our fonts also look just as good. So let's go to the fonts. Get back to the top. We want to go to global, typography, and then base fonts. So the base font. Now let me say something about fonts. I've chosen to use like this particular font. It's a whole discussion on choosing fonts for your website, but from a graphic designer's point of view, typography and fonts are a really critical part of any website. Now, fonts say a lot about you. They say a lot about your website. They describe whether your website is modern or not. So for instance, you have a brand, you have a, let's even look at Deep Africa itself. Deep Africa is an online solutions company, so meaning that we want to look modern, we want to look like like a modern company. And so one of the things that we don't want to use fonts that make it look old. We don't want to use fonts that make our website look like it's dated. It was created in the 1980s or 1930s, and the reason why is because it gives an image of that you are out of date. So most of the fonts you're going to find are going to be fonts. Let me describe something for you, because it won't make sense if I just say it out. There are things called serif fonts and sans serif fonts. So I want to go to fonts.google.com. So fonts.google.com is where I find all of my fonts. All of the fonts here are also available within Elementor, so they already will be available within here. All of the fonts you're seeing here are the ones on fonts.google.com. Let me just post that for you. Fonts.google.com. Now, fonts.google.com has a lot of different fonts, and I want to describe two different things. There are different types of fonts, and there is a font that looks modern, a font like this that looks modern, and there are fonts that look old. So let me look. Fonts that look old are fonts like this here that have. So this is called a serif font, and this is called a sans serif font. So a serif font has tails. I don't know whether you'd call them tails. But it has these two, I think it's ligatures. There are these sections, and like you see, this font is right here. There's a bit of a tail here, there's a bit of a tail here, there's a bit of a tail here. While a sans serif font, let's go to sans serif fonts, a sans serif font would not have that. So let's go to Montserrat. Montserrat is, you'll notice if I zoom in like really much, you'll notice that it doesn't have those tails, that it's clear. So that's the difference between serif and sans serif fonts. Now, serif fonts like the one I showed you, or like the one I have on my website, on the website here, they speak to, like for instance, nation.co.ke has a serif font, uses a serif font, and they're trying to tell you, and like even like the New York Times uses a serif font, even when it's a very modern company, New York Times uses a serif font, and the thing that they're trying to communicate to you is that they have a heritage, they are old, they have been around for a long time, they have a deep heritage. So this is actually not even just a serif font, this is a calligraphic font. Because they're trying to tell you that we have a heritage, we've been there for a long time, we've been around for a very long time, and we have a heritage. Now, a sans serif font shows that you have, you don't just have heritage. No, actually, it actually says that you're modern. You are a modern company, and so most technology companies will use sans serif fonts. Most newspapers and things like that will have serif fonts. So when you're trying to, the fonts communicate a lot. And again, fonts is a very long topic. You can spend a long time thinking about fonts. But let me show you how to select fonts. For me, you want to pair out two fonts. You want to have a header font, and you also want to have a font that speaks to the a font that is for the body. So what I normally do is that I use a simple font for the body, and then I use a more complex font for the headers. And so as you can already see, I had already made that decision when choosing the fonts for this. I went for a simple, playful font. I actually didn't spend too much time thinking about the other font down here, but I chose a serif font here that is called Garamond. So let's go and look for Garamond. So that's the font I chose. I chose the EB Garamond. EB Garamond is a really nice font. I really like it a lot. It's very beautifully designed, and it works a lot, and it's a free font, and it has a lot of options. Now, when choosing a font, let me mention something about it, is that you want a font that has a lot of options like this, that it has a very light font and a heavy font as well. Now, I know this is, I'm complicating things for the simple web designer. That's the simple designer who just wants a website for his business. So I don't want to go deeper than that. I may probably be speaking more to web designers when I'm speaking about fonts and going deep like this. But basically, you want to choose a good font. So the way I'd go about it, let me just actually make it slightly simpler. That once you choose the first font, the font that you want to use, you want to find fonts that can be able to pair well with it. Pairing means that it goes well with it. It looks nice. And that's the reason, like you can see this. So Garamond is a good title font, and Roboto seems to be a good font down here. Let's see another one. Montserrat, I don't like the way that looks there. And no, that does not work because it's not matching what we want. Play, this is interesting implementation. Oswald, that's also, I don't like how that looks. So I still would go with Roboto. Roboto is like the most popular font pairings is with the EB Garamond. When using EB Garamond, is EB Garamond with Roboto. Now, in the same way, you just come back to like Google Fonts. If you're looking for a font, now I know I'm going to use Roboto, but let's imagine that you're just starting out and looking for a font. You first would look for your header font. What do you want your header font to be? Now, if you don't want to use a sans serif font, you can actually be able to like filter out, and you remove any other. So let's say you want to use just a sans serif font. Sans serif meaning it doesn't look old, it looks modern. So you want to choose all of the sans serif fonts, which is now what we've chosen. Probably you want to keep a display font in there because display fonts also look a bit nice. So Baloo, let's say you're designing a website that has kids. If you're designing a website that has kids or that is playful, you'd want to use this as the header font here, because this is a nice font to have. And you can look, when you scroll down here, you can find that Baloo is normally like paired with different fonts. So for instance, like Baloo, I would actually say Baloo bold with Lato. And Lato has a lot of different options. So that's the way you choose a font. Now, once you've chosen the ones you want, you're not taking them from here because they're already available on your Elementor. So you're going to remember the name. So for me, I'm choosing EB Garamond and Roboto. So let's get back to my site here. So the font family, the main body font is going to be Roboto. And there it is, Roboto. And the variant that I want to use is basically the normal. So normal is what normally is the default. So let's just use normal. And you see it's already showing there. The size, now the font size, normally most fonts would use like font 16, most base fonts. So I'll use font 16 and the weight is the normal size. Transform it into capitals. You do not want to have all of your body text looking like uppercase. So you want it to just be default because that doesn't look nice. So let's just say default. So you want to make it like that. Let's now edit the headings. So family, like H1 to H whatever, it's going to inherit. So the family that you're going to, no, let me explain. I don't want to complicate these things for you. So once I set a header font here, right now it's inheriting from what the base WordPress has. But once I set the header family, it's going to inherit all of them. All of the rest are going to be inherited from there. They're going to receive the same font. You'll see what I mean. So let's choose EB Garamond. EB Garamond to be my header font. Now you see it's changed the header font to look like that, and the other text to look like that. So EB Garamond, the weight that I want for this is, I want it to be, let's see how bold it looks. Let's see how semi-bold looks. I think I'll go for semi-bold, and you'll notice that the rest are inheriting those sizings. Now, something I normally like using is like different proportions. So heading 1, I'd want it to be at 68. Now you can use this across the board. For me, this is a standard that I use. Heading 1 font size is going to be 68. Heading 2 is going to be 42. What I'm using is something called the golden circle, the golden ratio. So I'm using the golden ratio to determine what fonts I have. Again, if you don't know what that means, you don't really need to care about it. It's just basically a ratio that makes things look beautiful, in my opinion. So heading 2 is going to be 42. Heading 3 is going to be 26. 26. Heading 4 is going to be 16. So I publish. Now I've published that. Now we have our headers. Starting to rethink my decision on making this semi-bold, making it bold. Let's just keep it as bold like that, so that it looks. I think it looks okay that way. Okay. So now that we have the headings and fonts done, and like we have determined the sizes of that. We basically are now okay. We are now at a good place because we have selected the most important parts. So we have determined what our base colors are and like set those out there. We have determined what our fonts look like, and the rest are going to then start falling in. So you can ignore the rest of these because you're going to design the rest here. So now, let's move on. Let's move on. Now we have a header and a footer that looks okay. I like the way it looks. It could look better, but right now I'm okay with the way it looks because there we are. Let me just make sure that the header is taking the primary menu. Just a moment. I just want to make sure a few things are there. Okay, something that you may probably want to use, an interesting part of using Astra is that you can be able to have, to create like side buttons, buttons on the sides that, the last item in the menu, you can either make it to be search. Let me show you how that would look. So it will make my menus overlap. You can have search like that. Last item in the menu can also be a button, if you wanted to have a button there. Now you see it's making my menus overlap because there are too many things in here. But this is an interesting thing to have. It's an interesting thing to have if you probably want to have like a buy now or something like that. And that's something you only will find in the Astra theme, and that's something to think about. Right now, actually, instead of saying booking a fitting here, we can actually have it as a main button there. So let's put it as button, and then button text to be book a fitting, and then this is not going anywhere fast, and open in a new tab. So to fix, because of the fact that it's overlapping, I just want to remove a few items on my menu. Let's remove this book a fitting from here. There we are. And if your menu is overlapping, something you might also want to do is change the size of this. By reducing it, it's going to make things fit a bit better. So I'm actually I want to have a bit of space between those two items. So let's change that. Okay, perfect. Now let's design our first page. This is long overdue. Let's get it done. Let's make things work. So we've closed that there. It's basically showing us how the basic site is going to look, how the header is going to look, how the footer is going to look. So now let's get to designing our first page. Now that we have created the basic look of our page, there is more that we can be able to do with this, because there's more that we can be able to do, but right now it's okay to start. So what we want to do first is to, okay, the first option we could have had is to create a new page, but I have a different way that will work better. So just navigate with me. You remember we created Envato elements, and so you want to come and see what template kits are there. You remember we installed Envato elements and added our email. So now we want to browse through and like have a fast understanding of how our website is going to, how we want our website to look. Now this first section is paid, so if you are a subscriber of Envato elements like I am, you can be able to use these templates here. But Envato elements, I think you remember we had talked about Envato elements before. It's on the other side. So let's navigate to the free section and see what's there. So there are different themes that are out here that you can be able to use. Again, even if you don't find a wedding theme, a theme that has like weddings, you can see, or like if I don't find one that has weddings, I could use something else. And in the same way that even if you don't find one that has your specific industry, like I can find weddings here, but there are some of you who are not going to be able to find things that are within your industry. And so you still want to browse through, and you can use one of them. You remember we had a list. You remember the list that we had, not the list, the layout that we had created. That layout. So we are not looking for that layout here, but we're looking for something that would be able to fit within that. So I'm thinking something that can work for us here is the wedding planner, this wedding planner. And so I'm going to click on that, and so I'm able to see all the pages that are available. Now all of these pages, now once we select a particular theme direction, we want to stick with it. So be careful that you do not start with one, then find another one that has different fonts, and find another one that has different fonts. So let's just both browse through and find out whether this is actually what we are looking for. We can see that it has a number of options for the home page, which I like a lot. So here's how the home page looks. It's close to what we are looking for because it has a top menu. Now again, it does not have what I had talked about before, having this header here, but that's still okay because this still works. It has like a place where I can put my you remember the products that I wanted to have, like the wedding, like the different styles. So I can be able to add those here. I can be able to add them here as my products, and I can be able to have my gallery here. So this actually works pretty well for us. And so now it may be that you won't find a template. I had actually browsed through before and found a number of options. But in case you do not find what you're looking for, just go back and just browse through all of them. You're going to be able to find something that works close to what you're looking for. You don't want it to be perfect, but you want it to be close to what you're looking for. Now, I know we have extended this by quite a bit. We are in 1 hour, 22 minutes. My goal is to finish this by 45. So I'm going to just rush through a few of the things here, not because they are not important, but because you can be able to do some of these things yourself once you understand the basic concept. So let's get back to this. This is the homepage one. This is the first homepage. So I want to use this as my homepage because I've found this to be useful. Again, normally for me, if I was honest, I normally take almost an hour trying to look for the perfect place to start, because again, we don't want to use this exactly as is, but it's a good place to start. So I normally spend a lot of time trying to get a place to start. And so I would come and enter here as homepage. So the reason I was saying all of that is I don't normally find it this fast. I normally would spend a lot of time. So don't worry, it takes you a lot of time to be able to find the perfect tool to use. But again, it's not always that fast. So I'm going to call this home. So I want to create this page here. I could have created a new page by coming to here and say create new page, but because Envato Elements allows me to create a page based on this particular template, I'm able to do that there, and that's what I've done. So it's currently creating that page, and once it does, it basically would get, it basically would, I would have a page that is a draft, and the draft page is going to have basic information on the basic layout that I had created. Something went wrong, temporary API error. Let's show debug details. That's a lot of code. Let's refresh the page and see what happens. Now again, it may probably also have created, some of the times when errors like this come, it may have created the page, and no, it didn't. So let's just come back and create home. Let's see whether it's going to work. Now the fact that all of these things are integrating with a lot of tools, they're integrating with our hosting plans, integrating with WordPress, integrating with Astra, integrating with Elementor. All of those integrations sometimes means that you're going to have things that happen and failures that happen along the way. So don't worry about those. Those are usual. Again, just as I've shown you, you can see it's now actually saying that congrats, the page was created, because sometimes it takes going a second round. So what I've done is, like, I've clicked on home and it's navigated me to the Elementor page builder. Now, this is going to be an interesting journey, because the fact that you probably have not used Elementor before, or a page builder, and it may confuse you when you see some of these things. Now, you'll notice this looks nothing at all compared to this. You're expecting to see this, and you're seeing this, and you're wondering what exactly is going on. Don't worry, everything is still okay. Do not fret, because we are still in the line. Now, something I forgot to do, but I'll show you how to fix that, is it's displaying the website in here within this container, and it should be displaying it in the entire section here. So what I would do is, you remember we were at the customize. Let's just refresh. Let's go to customize, back to customize where we were at. Now the customize section, there's something important that we hadn't set specifically. This applies to Astra specifically. Let's go to global container. So the global container, this means that you are adjusting like what is going to appear here, what is going to appear, where that is appearing. So right now it's showing that the text would appear right in here. No, the content would appear right in here. And that's not what we want, because we want it to appear from edge to edge. So we want to have full width stretched. So you want to have it like completely full width layout, the basic layout to be full width, where it's containing the whole entire section. And that's what we want as the general layout. So full width stretched. For blog posts, you want it to be boxed. You want it to have that's the context that we are talking about, like this. You want it to have the content boxed. Just a minute. Boxed. You want it to be, let's see how that would look. For instance, the Hello World article. You want it to look like this, because you don't want your entire website to be full width. And so that's that. And so the content boxed, nope, boxed. So you want your blog posts to appear this way, but you want your pages to appear like fully, like full width. And you'll see how that works. So let's just click publish there. And once you've clicked publish, let's just come back here and refresh. So once we refresh, the thing that we expect is that it's going to be like full width. It's going to show its full width. It's going to appear from edge to edge. Now the other thing about what we've done is that even though we have it going from edge to edge, this sidebar is still here. Now we don't want this sidebar appearing, so that's something else we want to change. So let's come here. Then page layout, we want to use Elementor full width. And so once you select Elementor full width, it should be able to show that everything from edge to edge is shown. Now, because you don't want to be doing this for every page, you also want to make sure that for the pages, the sidebar is going to be hidden. And so on pages, you do not want to show any sidebar. So on pages, no sidebar. You saw where I went, right? I went to, it was a basic default section, sidebar. On pages, no sidebar. So now you can see that we have the entire page now fully displaying. Now, so if we didn't have this thing here, it would show like that. So we have a page. And actually, if you'd want to go check that out, go to weddingdress.com. I hope it doesn't doesn't crash when all of you go to visit it. Just a minute. Actually, before you go to weddingdress.com, there's one more thing you need to do, and I'll show you what something you need to do. Is you want to set your page, you want to set the, now within the customizer section, you want to set your home page, because let me show you what is happening right now. On Wedding Dress, let's just go to that site. You'll notice that Wedding Dress Kenya, it's looking like this. Though we have created that page, it's looking like that. So what we want to make sure is that the homepage appearance is not going to show the latest posts, because that's how it normally does. You want it to make it show the homepage we created. So let's just publish this and refresh, because it's not seeing that page we just created. Okay, so homepage settings, you want to select home as the homepage settings. For the posts, you can select any other section for the posts if you're going to be having a blog section. And so you notice that now when you go to the Wedding Dress Kenya, weddingdress.co.ke, it's going to show, voila. It's actually going to show the website the sample page we created. Now remember, this sample page we created does not have our own content. It has dummy content, it has dummy sections, but we now have a homepage that actually works. And the rest of this is going to be basically editing the contents of this. Now, time is running, and the thing that I would do is I just want to guide you through how to edit these sections here, so that you're able to understand. Elementor is quite wide and it's quite a powerful tool, and you may not be able to edit it be able to learn how to edit it completely, and that's still okay. As a beginner, once you have the templates here, you don't need to know too much after that. But I just want to show you how to make basic edits, and I would want you right now, again, let me go back to saying that we have an offer for you to be able to get hosting, and the reason I'm mentioning this offer is because I'd want you to do some practice with Elementor. You've gotten this far, you need to be able to understand how it works, and so I'd want you to play around with Elementor. And the best way of playing around with it is having your own hosting that you'll have created. And so let's have the create that, use the offer coupon code webinar. When buying, you're going to get 60% off. I really want you to practice with this. Whether you have it with Deep Africa, whether you have it with anywhere else, it's okay. The main thing that I want you to have is to practice, because if you do not practice, then you're not going to be able to understand this properly. So go out there, get that. We have given you that opportunity to get that offer and make use of it. So the first thing I want to show you is how to change text. Now you remember, we talked about like we wanted to have originally. Let me come back here. We wanted to have this section that has like our content in here. This, whatever we're having in front of us, still works for us. So let's edit this. So wedding dresses, Kenya. Now again, do I want to change the font of this? I will, probably later on. And the way that I would do that, there are many ways of being able to change fonts, but I will. Let's change this text as well. Now, you've seen what I've done. I double-clicked on it, I can be able to edit. Double-click on this, I can be able to edit. But now, the other way of editing is that you can change and double-click on it there. So you can be able to change, like edit the text from clicking here on the left-hand side. So, make that day perfect. Now you see it's overlapping, it's overlapping in there, making that day perfect. Okay, so the fact that, oh boy, spelling, the fact that it's overlapping here means that I want to change some things. I probably want to make it like go like overlap. There are a number of ways of doing that without complicating things. You just get in there and just press enter. If you did that here, it wouldn't work because you see it's added a small piece of code in here. So you want to make it, you want to edit within this section here. And then you can also then start adding text here about, basically like a small about. Let me just add, like what I'd added is my about, a bit of my website content that I'd worked on. Let me just add that there. There we are. So we have the first. I've shown you how to edit text, making that day perfect. Let's edit the color, because you remember these are not our colors, the colors that we had chosen. So let's edit these colors. Now, something that I need to probably talk about is that your color palette, the color palette we had created, which is here, you want to translate that to your website to be able to be used on the website on Elementor. So I want to show you how to add those. So let's get back to here. And before we start editing colors, I would want us to go to this section here. So the way you get that is on your Elementor, you go to this hamburger menu, and then you click on either theme style. The theme style is going to take you to basically the way different things would look. Different, like the way default items will look. But what I want you, specifically for colors, I want you to go to default colors. I need to just get back to what it should be. Just a moment. As it loads, you want to click the hamburger menu, go to default colors. So the default colors, this is basically your color palette that is determining how things are going to look. So you want your primary color, your primary header colors to take a certain color. So that's our blue, okay, our blue. We also want like our secondary color to be the green. And then we want our text color to look like that. Our accent color to be purple, the purple we created. Okay, that's that. So apply. Okay, perfect. Now, let's now edit these colors here. Again, you have not set the default color palette yet, because this is the default color palette here. So you want to add, let's add the blue. I didn't show you how to get there. So I clicked on this, clicked on like this icon here, got it, clicked on this pencil icon, it brought me like looking like that. Then I went to style, and then I went to text color. When you click on this, it brings out this color chooser. Now this color chooser has default colors already set, which is not what you want to keep. You can actually drag and delete those from your palette, because what you're going to want to do is add your own colors in here, the colors that you had chosen for consistency. So we're deleting all of those. No, I did the wrong thing. Let's just redo that. Take the color we had chosen, copy, paste it here, and say add. So it's been added. So let's go to the green, copy, paste it there, say add. Then go to purple, no, pink, copy, paste it there, then say add. We had a beige color that was there, paste it there, and say click add. It's been added there. Then we had slightly, I don't want to mention it because I know you guys are going to laugh at me, so I don't want to mention the color. It may be orange, no, or yellow. And there I said it, and let the laughs begin. All right, I also probably want to add pure black to my palette and pure white to my palette. There we are. So we have a palette there. So remember your colors, that's where you've defined your colors. You now don't need to think about setting them again. So let's cycle through different colors, these different colors that are there. And I think I like this blue. It's dark and stark. Let's come back to this. Go to style, click on edit. Let's choose the green. That looks like it works. Okay, perfect. So the other thing I want to show you how to do is to change images. For instance, now what I'm done is right click and edit column. Now this is an image, but it's been set on the background. That's slightly more complicated. Let's use a different one. Here's an image here. An image of a lovely couple. I want to edit it to change it to have one of the images that I had chosen. So I click on that icon. I come and click choose image. And you notice that all the images that were imported have been imported here. That may be both a good thing and a bad thing. You want to be careful about that. So I want to add the photos that I had created. You remember the photos that I had? The photos that we had done. The photos that were that we had optimized, tinified on the first day. Here are the photos. You remember the ones that were 4 MBs? All of them are 4 MBs. No, actually 2 MBs. So we want to copy all of this. So drag all of those here and bring them here until it goes blue. If it does not go blue, it's going to like close the work and you'll have lost the work you'll have done. So like drag it around here until it turns blue and says drop files to upload, and drop them there. So you want to have all of those photos first uploaded there. You may have other photos that you're going to use later on, but that's the first one. So let's use this first image in there as the one that we're replacing it with. And you see it's been added there. So we want to click on the other image or right click on it and say edit image and say click on that. We also then want to use, let's say a photo of that lady there. There we go. So we started editing. So that's, we now have our photos in there. Now, let's come to edit column. Now, the same way, in the very same way, now this image is slightly more hidden because it's not just plain like this here. It's within the inside of a column. I know that may not make a lot of sense, but it's, you don't need to understand exactly how it works, but you need to understand where the image is. And so here is the image here. So you come to right click, edit column, then you go to style, and you'll see the image there. Once you spot that same image there, is when you click on change image, and you can use, let's see, you can probably use that. there we go. Now we have a background of the wedding dress shop and people who have used our wedding dresses. And as an added bonus, I have flowers on this, which are pretty cool. So there we are. So we've edited that first section. I've shown you how to edit images and text. I think that's enough for today because I don't want to complicate things more than they already are. I hope that you have learned a lot so far. I thank you because you're still here 1 hour, 45 minutes later. I want to request for questions. I think that's enough for today to start just basically get you going. So you can play around with it. By the end of this day, make sure that you have the website done. You have the, not the website, the homepage done. I'll also edit my own to be able to add all of the text and all of the sections. There we have it. Do I have any questions? Please ask them now. I would want to be able to answer them before we close. Edward, you're saying you've learned a lot. I'm glad that you've learned a lot. I am happy to have taught. I'm happy to have taught you. Probably, guys, if you don't have a question, you can probably post what your key takeaway is. Edward, what have you learned today? What's the thing that sticks out to you the most? So you're saying that you look forward to add a shop page to it? Yes, we are going to add a shop page. The one we're going to create is going to be simple. If you are more interested in doing something a bit more complicated, then I would let me encourage you. For those who are understanding this a bit faster, let me ask you to do something. Go to plugins, add new, and look for a plugin called WooCommerce. WooCommerce. WooCommerce is I hope I've spelled that correctly. W-O-M. You have to get the spelling correctly for this to work. WooCommerce. WooCommerce, it has 5 million active installs. Don't download any other. It's a very popular theme, so you'll find others that have the same name. But look for the one that has 5 million active installs and 3,500 reviews. Updated 2 weeks ago, or depending on when you're seeing this, and click on install. Now that will create a new that plugin. That plugin is what allows for online shopping, and so you can play around with it, set up products in there. You are probably going to learn a lot in there. Again, please avoid it if you have not yet understood this concept pretty well. Please avoid it because it will complicate your life a lot more. But if you're interested, just go to WooCommerce and press install now, and then say activate, and then go through the tutorials of. It's going to guide you on how to create, how to basically create a WooCommerce, an e-commerce shop that is dynamic. It's a bit more complex, but it's nice to use. I would want to read your comments. I'm accepting questions right now, so please give the questions. And by the way, please go to feedback, deepafrica.com/feedback. It's where you're able to give us feedback for the things that we have done, telling us whether we've done a good job or not, giving us your comments on how we can improve. It's just a short questionnaire. It will take you less than a minute to fill out, and it will really help us out. This event is free for you guys, and I know you're learning a lot of very important things, so I really would request you to do something for me. Please fill this form for me, because it will help me understand the things we are doing well and the things that we can improve, because we want to be doing webinars more often and give you such awesome content, and we won't be able to make it really awesome if you do not give us that feedback. So please go to deepafrica.com/feedback and help us improve. Amos is saying that was great. Thank you so much. Nixon, you're saying that's an interesting session. Yes, I think it was. It's lasted a bit longer than what I had anticipated for, but I think you guys have learned a lot. Amos is asking, content map setup, you be able to change it once you've created it? Let's say it's getting boring and you want to change it. Yes, you can change it. It's completely editable. One of the beautiful things about this particular thing, the particular site that we are creating, is that you are in full control of everything. Now, in terms of getting boring, I would advise you not to change very often because it's not a very good idea, but I would advise, think about what your clients are going through. Is it useful for them? Now, do not change it just because it's looking boring or you want to change things up. Use it, like the menu is something that you want to have for functionality. For instance, we have a lot of products and solutions that we provide, but I only chose to have just 3 menu options on my site. That's because having a very many options complicates issues and makes people a bit overwhelmed. And so I want to make it simple for someone who is viewing this site for the first time. And then as they continue viewing the site, they can be able to discover more of the things that are available. And so, yeah, please don't change them too often, but you're in full control. You're saying that after downloading the template from Envato, can one change the background color if it doesn't please you? Yes, you can change the background color. Let me show you how to change the background color. Let's say you can change the background color of the entire page or of a particular section. So let's say I don't like how this background color looks. I can come and click on that. This edits the whole of this entire section. Let me say something about Elementor. It's divided into sections. So this is the container. This is the main element container, and you can be able to edit it there. This is a column, and you can be able to, and you can see what your changes will affect. Then this is a text box, picture, inner column. So there are sections in between, so be careful about that. Now you can be able to change I was explaining how to change the background color. You right click on the place you want to change, say edit, then come to styles. All of the background colors and color changes are normally located in the styles section. Let me just refresh this. Now, Edward is asking, okay, I hope I'm able to answer all of the questions that are coming in. Edward is asking about changing slides on the website. So you can use, I would actually say, if you really want to have slides on the website, just try and be careful about like what slides you're using slider plugins. They're not very good to have. I don't like the slider plugins a lot. Elementor itself has slides, and I don't know whether it's available on the free option. Let me see whether it's available on the free option. Slider. Yeah, you can actually be able to create slides. Oh, it's actually a pro. Yeah, sorry. This is a pro option. I apologize. This is a pro. It's a pro plugin that is locked. Slides are good to use, and you probably would have to use like a paid. Now, if you want to extend the way your Elementor works, there are plugins that can help with that. And one of the plugins I would recommend, just go to plugins and say Elementor. Let me recommend a plugin to extend to have sliders. Elementor. Now, I don't like using a lot of extra plugins, so I'm advising you to do this, but it's not something I'm very in great favor of. Essential add-ons for Elementor. Now, this adds a number of things within here that are useful. Let's just read through because I don't want to install it. Post grid, let's see whether it has the slider in here. I think it does. Post grid, post time, fancy text, creative buttons, countdown, testimonials, content form, gravity forms, ninja. Let's just testimonial slider. Well, that's actually on the premium version. Content ticker. Okay, sliders are actually not available on that either. You can try and find a plugin that works with Elementor. The reason I'm recommending that specifically is because there are things like Slider Revolution that you need to pay for. That is not a really good, I wouldn't go for it because I don't really like it that much either. But my advice would be, the world is going away from sliders. You'll notice that many of the templates that we are using are slider-less. So I'd advise you, Edward, please do not, avoid sliders where you can. The problem with sliders is that they're using a lot of resources in the back, so JavaScript is making it slide the way it is. Then you're also having a number of images that actually make the website a bit more, take longer to load. So I'd advise against sliders, personally. By the way, again, I actually remembered something else that probably would work for you. If you must have sliders, then do something like this. Let's do something. Let's copy this. Copy and paste it here. Let me just show you something. If you must have sliders, then what you can do is come to this section, edit section. I'd forgotten this, and you add a slideshow at the back of this. So you notice, let me just add a few photos in here. So you see, it's going to have just single text on it, but it's going to be scrolling in the back. Then what you do with that is just add an overlay. We can add, let's just add a single overlay that looks like that, and then make this text look white. It will be green. Yeah, so that's something that you can use as an alternative to having sliders. This is within Elementor, so this you can use. Again, the fact that you're having so many images in there is not a good idea because it's overloading the site more than it should, but to each his own. This is the best way I would recommend. Avoid using plugins. Plugins are, well, you probably know by now, I really don't like plugins. Okay. Questions after downloading a template from Envato, can you change the color? That's what, okay. Actually, yes, you can change the colors. I think I've shown you, Kevin. Edward. So you want to be able to use WhatsApp chat for your clients on my website. Now you can be able to set up WhatsApp. I'll show you how, probably when you're adding functionality on day 5. So tune in to day 5, Edward. Captain Cargo, key takeaway. Yes, that there's a certain key and silent yes defined message contained in fonts, the fonts chosen. Captain Cargo, I'm happy that I've made that insightful for you. I'm happy that you have found a good takeaway. I answered the question by Edwin Joroge. Kevin Garama says thank you. Yes. All right, I think I've answered all the questions that were there. Thank you guys. I really appreciate the fact that you came in for the live stream. This one has taken a whole 2 hours. Thank you for being here and being with me and all of us here at Deep Africa. I advise you to take advantage of the webinar discount that we are giving so you can be able to get a domain name and hosting for your website. And until tomorrow, get to work, get some work done. By the end of this week, we hope to have our website ready. And as you can see already, we already have pretty beautiful website already. It's already starting to take shape. And so I hope yours is also starting to take shape. I hope yours are also starting to take shape, just as this particular one is. So until next time, catch you later and see you tomorrow. Bye.